What's up?
Hey, not much. How are
Sandra
you?
Tanner, Governors.
Yes.
Nice. Welcome to Burn the Ship.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We're talking about the Big Sip event that we got coming up, correct?
Yep, correct.
But before we talk about that, we're going to talk about Sandra and her life and her feelings. And I'm just kidding.
So don't go too deep. I'm just joking.
sit on the couch. Tell me about yourself. How did you find? How did they find you? Because your title is marketing manager,
Events
right?
manager.
Manager, okay,
Yes.
but you do a lot of marketing, is what you do.
Yes, and I'll get into that and why I do that later.
Cool.
But yes.
Please.
So my story is super quick. Is I did not start off doing events. I started off years ago in the dental field.
Dental
field, yes. I was a dental assistant for a long time, and then I moved into orthodontics, so I could tell you anything about your teeth that you want to know. But there was something that I found. Every job that I started, I ended up doing something related to events or marketing,
Sure.
or just finding a reason to have fun. Right?
Yeah, well, in that industry, they're marketing like crazy.
Yes, and I would do that. I would go out.
They do a lot of events.
Yep, I would go out and I would. There's things that I would do. I would host events for
Yep.
other doctors and referring dentists. I would go out and give, and I would be the one to go out monthly and give little baskets.
Sure.
To try to get some
Frisbees,
referrals.
beach
Yeah,
balls.
exactly.
Yeah,
and then I would
gotcha.
also host these annual block parties along with what I was already doing
Sure.
in the dental field. But anyway, so I was like, I really like doing that. And every
Mhm.
time I had a new job, somehow I incorporated events.
Sure.
And then I did it for my church. Every church I went to, somehow I would decorate or do event stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just like, okay, well, there's something to this. And so, I started doing weddings, coordinating weddings. I had my own business.
Ew.
Yes, I had
God,
my
that's
own
awful,
business,
I
and I
bet.
did love it. But yeah, weddings are its own
Got
kind.
to deal with the moms.
But what I found, because I was a mom at the time my kids were young,
Mhm.
it was taking my weekends away from me.
Sure.
So I stopped doing that. But then I still did events. I would always host them at my house. It's just what I love doing.
Yeah.
And okay, so how I got to Governors. The one thing people ask me when they find out I work at Governors Gun Club
Mm-hmm.
is, do I like to shoot? And the answer is actually yes. And I don't want to get into that, but I grew up. My dad is a Marine, because I always get corrected. Once a Marine, always.
Always, yep.
So my dad's a Marine, and so I always kind of grew up around that. And we had a super weird tradition when I was little. After Christmas, we would take our tree to the field and shoot the ornaments off.
Awesome.
And so I did not carry that over to my family, but it was
hard to do that in a
big part
neighborhood,
of
isn't
my,
it?
Yeah, it was a big part of my childhood.
Really freak people out, Roger.
Well,
Those guys shoot their tree in the neighborhood in the cul-de-sac.
We didn't live in a neighborhood. It was like
Mm-hmm.
backwoods. But anyway, so all that to say, when I started to go back to work, I was a stay-at-home mom for a while. So when I went to go back to work, I've always kind of been, I don't know if anybody's going to relate, known as the jack of all trades, master at none.
Of course.
I really wanted to change that, because I was like, I want to just focus on one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Give all of my.
Well, there's a lot of people out there that get it that get in that trap, and they switch from industry to industry, and they go from one thing to another, and they get good enough at it to do it, but they don't ever master it. And there's a lot of people that do that, and I think it's because they want to find their way, and maybe they get bored easy. But there's a lot of people like that,
and that's totally fine, because you as an entrepreneur, that it's going to take time, and you switch from one thing to another until you find your thing.
Yeah.
There's only like that 1% that actually like get it on the first try.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so I knew that I wanted to do something in events. I kind of went through a little imposter syndrome, if I would say, because as I was looking through Indeed, I would see all of these jobs coming up, and I wanted to be like a coordinator or a planner.
Sure.
I'd never imagined being a manager, and it would intimidate me a little bit. Whenever I would see event manager, I would just pass by it. I knew I could do it.
Sure.
But just anyways, I saw the post about governors looking for an
Mm-hmm.
event manager, and I looked at it, I was like, oh, that'd be really cool, because I remember passing by it when it first opened. I was like, that's a really cool place,
It's
but
beautiful.
it's members only. So I was like, oh, we can't go. And anyway, so um, and then my husband came to me and he said, hey, did you see this post about governors? I was like, yeah, I saw it, but I don't know. He goes, you should go for it. And I was like, okay. So I put in my application. Long story short, I ended up getting the job. But then it wasn't until after I got the job, because I had to do 2 interviews. And my husband, and I called him and was like, hey, I got the job. He goes, I know. I was like, how do you know? He goes, because, we're believers. And so he said, God told me that you're gonna get the job. So I was kind of at peace about the situation.
Cool.
And so I was like, okay, well, that's yay, it's kind of confirmation. And so that's kind of how I got to governors.
Nice.
And and that whole, it's been amazing. It's been such a great year. I've been there for a year almost now. And
Right.
it's been amazing.
Well, it's a beautiful facility, and it's huge.
Yeah.
It's enormous. So I look at you, Sandra, like when Mark Rick left Georgia and Kirby came, he didn't leave them with a bad team. He basically got a good team, and then a better coach came in and did that. So that's kind of like you. You had all these skills from your past, all your past jobs and your church and all this, and then you just brought those to an already beautiful facility.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times these types of businesses, that's what they're not good at, is marketing.
Well,
I figure the nut at that place is quite large, so you need to have people in and out, and the members have to be high, right?
Yeah.
It's like a golf course. If you don't have the members high, you have to bring them in. So what kind of things that you feel like unique skills and things like that you brought to the table when you got to governors?
Okay, so yeah, you're absolutely right. There's a lot of different aspects to governors, because it's not just a gun range or shooting range.
It is not.
It's a restaurant. We have a 5-star restaurant. So they have their own team. We have a bar. We have lots of event spaces.
Mm-hmm.
We have, public ranges. It's a members only club. So we have members ranges. We have the only indoor shotgun field in America.
Mm.
And so you can come and you can, shoot skeets.
Trap.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
trap. 'Cause I'm like,
both.
So I get confused on which is which. But so anyways, during COVID, this is the part where I skipped over just because I was trying to get everything like in a nutshell. I learned a lot pre-COVID, during COVID, about marketing, SEO, online sales, how to sell, like a lot of things like that. And so I kind of used all of those things. And so if I could say this, I'm just going to say real quick, I know this is a podcast for entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
I am not an entrepreneur in this. I do not own governors.
Right.
I am the events manager. However, I do run my team as it's my own company, my own business, because I have that entrepreneur mindset.
Sure.
I've owned a business before. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how I run my team. And we do have an awesome marketing department that also helps and supports the events team. But there's some things that I do with my team because, one, I am a manager, but I like to see myself as more of a leader.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference is managers just come and manage and then they go home.
Sure.
And leaders teach and show by example. They make sure that the vision of the company is known to the employees. Mm-hmm. That way everyone works together.
Right.
And so there's a lot of things that I do because of that mindset for my team. As far as like the marketing. So I am a big believer in networking. And that's actually one of the reasons why I started working again, is because I was doing things online, which was fine, mm-hmm. but I miss the people and I miss the face-to-face aspect of just being around people.
Well, I feel like that you that's everywhere you've been. You said I've done this marketing and I've done events thing. That's not an accident. That's people are gravitated towards that and towards you to do that. So like, you can do this, so go do it.
Yes. And I think it's because, I did show interest, and I've always had a mindset, even as an employee. as a employee that just started in even a new career,
Yep.
like ownership. Like I want to do what I'm doing the best that I can.
Sure.
And I want to be trusted to do that, and I want to prove that I can do these things. But going back to,
But if you do that, you're not gonna get micromanaged. If
right,
you take the bull by the horns, if you will, you're not gonna get micromanaged.
right,
If you don't do that, you are gonna get micromanaged. The difference to me between a leader and a manager is a leader doesn't ever clock out.
Mhm.
Like they take it home and they're thinking about it all the time.
and they
They're
wake up at 2:30 in the morning.
They're constantly thinking, how can I make it better? Even when it went well, what can we do
Yes.
better?
Absolutely. There's
So,
always something that
Of
can be better.
course. And you gotta own the screw ups.
Yeah,
And they happen. They happen.
Yeah, I do that too. So one of the things that I teach my team is because I do have two coordinators, events coordinators, and so I'm trying to teach them. One, we can't just sit around here waiting for people to come to us. We
Nope.
have to go out and we have to get the people. So that is why networking is so important, and that's why marketing is so important. Because yes, we're a beautiful facility, obviously, but do you know how many people in this area have no idea that governors even exist?
Tons.
And so it's just like we can't just sit around.
Yep.
We have to go out and we have to find them. So
Right.
as for my coordinators, I'm trying to teach that to them now. And so
Mhm.
like with the SIP event coming up, I
Right.
want them to go. I want them to be involved. I want to teach them how to network and teach them what they need to do in order to, have that skill, because networking, talking to people, and marketing,
Mhm.
those are skills that anybody, I don't care if you're a business owner or like anybody, you're going to need to be successful.
Sure.
And there's also, I'm involved in BNI, the business networking group. And so we're doing a BNI like outing. It's
Sure.
a golf outing in 2 weeks. And so I'm having them come so that I can also show them how to.
What's the golf outing?
It's like for the Barrett Business Builders is for our, I guess our
Your group. And
Yeah,
y'all are having a golf.
It's just
Tournament?
a golf outing.
Just an outing,
Just
okay.
an outing with us.
Where y'all gonna do that?
In Town Lake.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Get to show how well I'm not at golf.
Yeah.
That's okay. And so the marketing part. So we have a great marketing department, but those are the things that I know, like I said, playing my part
Sure.
and, doing the things that I can to also bring in some more people and get exposure for governors.
Well, look, we had a really good SIP event there the first time. I wasn't there because I got sick.
Mm-hmm.
So that sucked. But it was freezing that day, but it still went really well, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
And this one's going to be better because it's going to be, good weather.
Yes.
But we already have, 16 tables?
17.
17 vendors, which is almost double than we've ever had, right? I think the most we've ever had is like 9, probably. So it's almost double. So just in the vendors alone, there's going to be 40 people there, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Just in the vendors alone. And we already have a bunch of pre-ball tickets. And in the networking world, in my experience, you don't get a lot of pre-ordered tickets. They just go that day if they can go. Mm-hmm. But of course they're gonna, if it's really awesome, they're gonna try to make it. And we gave away, we've been giving away tons of prizes. So the more vendors, the more prizes.
Yes.
And they were good prizes. Like
we gave away a membership.
Y'all gave away a membership. I will tell you this though. So the one group, I think they were managed IT group. Yeah, they gave away probably $150 bottle of whiskey.
Ooh. Nice.
Woodford. Yeah, Woodford Reserve. So what? But the manager came up and said, and you would do the same thing. It goes, hey, they have to get that bottle of liquor out of here because it was a bar. And you can't bring outside alcohol, even though it was a gift, and they were not going to drink it. But you can't bring that out. I go, hey, we'll just tell them what it is and go put it in the car, it was fine. We walked it out, but if they do that again, we'll just have to tell them, hey, take a picture of it. This is what we're giving away.
Yeah, take a
But
picture, frame
what
it.
a great gift! What a great two great gifts: a membership and a big bottle of nice whiskey.
Well, that's what I see all the time, and that's the great thing about having an event at Governor's
Mm-hmm.
is because it is a members only. I mean, public can have events there, but
Sure.
because when we see events at Governor's, we get more people coming
Mm-hmm.
because people want to know what it is, know what it's like. They finally got invited, so they want to go see what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
So we always get more people there
Sure.
for events.
It's like I said, it's a beautiful facility. If you haven't been there, go. They're very open to guests trying it out and seeing if they like it. But I mean, it's not. They have a full retail store downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
So you haven't said that. I mean, it's a
Downstairs is open to
nice
public.
retail
Yes.
store, and then there's a bar that's basically a square bar that probably could put 30 people at that bar, more than likely.
Upstairs. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, upstairs. And then the restaurant back there, which is, like you said, a 5-star restaurant. But there's like a pool table there.
We have pool tables, yeah. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to be specific, saying that the bar was not in the retail store. It
Yeah.
was upstairs away from.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah,
So,
and you cannot drink and then shoot.
No,
You-
we are
they-
very
they
strict
they
on
they
that
take
policy.
they take license and they do the right thing. But it's they've got a really nice outdoor patio, and I think it's going to click back, and there is a picture of that on there. Yeah, that right there.
Yeah.
So it's super nice, and it's big. It's really big.
The big room here. This is our banquet hall. We can hold up to 300 people, maybe more. In that, we do
Yeah, it's
concerts
nice.
and stuff like that. There. This is our
The Hiram
second
one?
location. Yep, we have one in Hiram, Powder Springs area. It's smaller, but it's so cute. It's just such a different feel. And we
Yep.
can do events there as well. But
Mhm.
yeah, this is the indoor shotgun field. So
If you were to train, if you're training your team to be better at marketing, and I could write a book on how to get deals from networking groups, because I've done it for years. And if you were to say, hey, you need to do these 3 things when you go to this networking group, what would be those 3 things?
always have business cards.
Okay.
I would say just walk up, like open up a conversation.
Sure.
Smile.
Mhm.
Make sure that you're dressed appropriately
Yep.
for the occasion. I know that was more than 3, but
It's okay.
But yeah,
Keep going.
just engage in conversation. Ask questions. Then listen.
Mhm.
Don't just talk about yourself.
Sure.
Just find people and set up meetings with them to learn more about them.
Okay. So mine would be engage, but then disengage, right? Know your customer so you can go engage with them 1st. And because we're a little different. Everybody's a client of yours, really. They can be,
yeah.
but some of them aren't in the market because they can't afford it, maybe, or there's reasons why people wouldn't be. But you are actually looking at people that all your clients could be,
because if they're not going to be, host an event, then there's
they can eat a meal.
else.
They can eat a meal.
There's something else they can come and do.
Yeah, for sure. So I'd say engage, but disengage, because here's a big problem with when people do it. It's just a mistake when I'm going to go talk to you and I stay talking to you all the time because that's my comfort zone, right? And a lot of times you go to these things and you go into your comfort zone circle and you're talking to the same people you always talk to.
Yes.
The goal is to meet new people.
Talk to someone new.
That's right.
Say, hey.
That's right.
We'll hang out later.
But if you're not seeing 80% and talking to 80-90% of everybody in a network group, especially when there's 100 people there, you can talk to 80 people. You can go around and talk to 80 different people if you do it right. Now, the most important thing is what you said is follow up. You're not going to sign deals at a networking group.
Right.
That's not happening.
Right.
If you do, it's tacky.
Yeah.
Is that right? So unless you're a vendor selling cookies or something, you obviously you're selling something then, but
right.
the real money is made in follow up. That's the only money that's made. You can do in BNI and any networking group, the person who does the most one-to-ones and has the most outside that person that meetings usually closes the most deals.
Well, yeah, and also after the follow up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so knowing that marketing, anything like that, like that's that first connection,
Mm-hmm.
but it could take 6 months to even see that person coming back for your services.
Yes, for
So
sure.
not just the give up, like
Mm-hmm.
have the follow up, but then just continue a relationship with them
Yep.
and just touch base with them every now and then, because just because you have a one on one or one to one, and then you know meet with them, doesn't mean that they're going to sign the deal then. Ideally, that would be ideal.
No, but they go in your pipeline.
Exactly.
You certainly have to. You certainly have to follow up for years. Sometimes we don't. We meet somebody and then we might not acquire them as a client for 2, 3, 4 years.
Exactly.
You know, because they're in a contract or they're just not ready. But you know, just keep in contact with people for sure.
Don't get frustrated. Don't
No, it's part of the game.
It is. It's what it is. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, the other thing, and I wanted to touch on when you were talking about talking to people, is identifying your customer.
Sure.
And
it's
not
important.
wasting time.
That's
so
important.
if you sit there and you're engaging, and then even in their business, but you already know that you're not going to have their services. Sorry, that was a photo moment. That you're not going to have their services. Don't waste their time. And they're thinking in their mind, they're like, oh yeah, this person is interested.
Yep.
When you're not, so you're wasting their time.
Sure. I love doing this and at networking groups. I will grab somebody and go, hey, you need to talk to Sandra. Mm-hmm. And I will introduce them at the thing, because that's me giving somebody that I have a relationship with too and connecting people. And it's easier for me to acquire a client if I'm giving of my time and introducing people at those networking groups.
Absolutely.
So if do that when you're in networking groups too, is actually grab somebody you know and introduce them to somebody else you know.
That's great.
Because like you said, how many people don't know that Governors is even there? A lot.
A lot of people.
Roger will tell you. I said, you can go through your Facebook and you have 10,000 people, right? Whatever connected. There's probably only 10% of the people that know what you do for a living. Mm-hmm. So you got to tell people what you do for a living.
You have to tell people. And that's the beauty of social media. You can use it at your advantage or disadvantage.
That's right.
And another thing that I tell, my coordinators is you do have to talk about what you do.
Yep.
You have to go out and you have to tell people what you do. Because
sure.
Other than that, then, no one's going to know.
You're in a good situation because, it's easy to talk about something that's fun.
I know.
Right.
I know. Yeah. I could talk all day.
Like
which is why I actually have notes, because I get to where I talk all day. So I'm like, I need to stay focused.
But me and Roger, we walk up to people and like, hey, let's talk to you about credit card processing. They're like,
Well, it's the same thing.
Not super exciting, but we love it, right?
A lot of the marketing and the exposure that I've had. My husband actually works for a company called ClickFunnels. And so they offer a lot of just marketing advice and courses and just strategies.
Is this a tech software?
Mm-hmm. It's like ClickFunnels. It's like an online. If you're selling courses and if you're selling anything, then ClickFunnels is a way to basically draw people in.
Sure.
And
I love it. I love it.
So a lot of I've been, really focused on learning everything that I can, because I want to be the master at something.
Of course.
And that's a lot of the reason why I also, and I hate talking about, I have a hard time talking about myself in a not a positive way.
Boastful.
Yes.
Right.
And so I want to say successful. Success means something different to everyone.
Sure.
So when I say success, this isn't monetary or anything like that. It's just if there's something I don't know, I learn it and I study it until I do know it.
Right.
We have so much at our hands with YouTube and free resources.
Sure.
That there's no reason to not understand something that you're doing.
Of course. No, for sure. Well, SIP event is going to be April 25th. It starts at 5:30. 5 o'clock.
5 if you want to take part of the activities.
And then there's pre-gun shooting things that you've pitched, right?
At 4.
At 4 o'clock.
Yes, at 4. That's at 4.
And tell us about that.
So if you want to, shoot, then you just come at 4. It's $25 per person, and that covers everything except for ammo.
Okay.
You'll get a gun rental, your target, all of that stuff. You just pay for whatever ammo you shoot, how many
Yep.
boxes.
Can you bring your own?
Yeah.
You can bring your own ammo. Okay.
And so that is at 4:00. Just come, and then you come upstairs, and then you'll shoot for an hour, and then the event starts at 5 on
Sure.
the patio.
And you want to pre-register for that? We're going to call you, or going to call Roderick, or either or.
I think Roderick, who's taking
Okay.
care of that. I think there's like a QR code or something.
Yep. It's Roderick at gompgroup.com. So hit him up if you want to partake in that, because that's a good deal.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity to just see what Governors is about upstairs, because like I said, it's upstairs is members only, but basically you guys are going to get the members experience.
That's right. That's right. We're going to take over that top floor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And we are opening up the restaurant and the lounge.
Sure.
So if anybody does want to stay and eat.
Food's awesome there too.
And we're going to have some appetizers for the first.
I had the Wagyu steak last time I went there. It was awesome.
5-star restaurant. It's amazing. The food. People get a membership there just for the food.
Of course.
It's so good.
Yeah, for sure. I know people that don't shoot and just go up there to eat. Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be fun though. So it starts at 5:00 and it goes to about 8:30, 9ish. People kind of hang around, but it's a lot of fun. Come out, join us. You can see Sandra face to face. You can see Roderick face to face, and I hope I don't get sick.
You won't.
Thanks for joining.
Start taking vitamin C.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
Thank you so much for having me.
Burn the ship, guys.